All right, all right, all right. Welcome. Howdy to the Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. My name is Matt Bertram. I am your host today. And this is the Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. So I want to focus on some unknown secrets as we move forward. I am working on a insider group as well due to requests from people that have gotten on my calendar. I've also gotten requests. Are you still doing the podcast? Sorry, I've been busy. We have a lot of new clients come in, have some enterprise clients we're working on. So trying to get back in the swing of things with school, kids, work, all that. So I haven't forgot about you guys. Appreciate you reaching out and checking on me. Um, I want to tell you also a little bit about what I've been doing personally before we get into the meat and potatoes. So I don't know if other people out there like me are collectors, but I've been collecting something called sellies. For those of you watching on YouTube, I can show you here. This is a Tony the Tiger selly. So you used to have to pen it, and then you had to paint it, and then you had to put it on a background. I think Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was the first actually full-length movie. There was like thousands of creators. Hanna-Barbera, actually a lot of those people with Fruity Pebbles was really one of the first crossovers, and that led a lot of people into advertising and in the golden era of, well, animation advertising and creating characters is something really excited about, and something I want to work on and some projects. And I got a few of these. I'm collecting them. I think it's really cool. Think about Fred Flintstone, Barney Rubble. They were a well-known cartoon. Everybody was watching them, and then they moved into advertising, and that's just a really cool transition. It was someone that took their art form and moved them over and got paid in a new persona, or I don't know if that's the right word, but a lot of people moved over after that, and Kellogg's and all these other brands had characters for all the cereals, and I just think that's so cool, and um, would love to be involved in that in some way. And there's a lot of opportunity. So that's something that I'm working on. All right, let me get into it. So today we're talking about G&B, and G&B is incredibly important. We've had a few clients that have lost their G&B, and that's how they came to us, and they got into trouble. And here's what I'll tell you, and I need to put together a blog post about this, maybe a case study. But if you lose your G&B, your credibility goes to zero online. And so I've seen some clients that had really, really strong lead flow. They lost their G&B, and oh my gosh, it almost went to a near stop. So getting those reviews, getting the visibility with the G&B, being multiple places on the Google search is really quite quotable, quite incredibly I can't even talk today, incredibly important if you're going to be doing digital marketing online. Like, everything kind of plays off each other, gives it a multiplier effect, but really those reviews and the G&B gives you a ton of credibility. So does social media, which we can get into maybe in a later podcast, but it's really, really important to do that. I also want to say I've been, talking to a lot of different SEOs. A lot of people don't know what's going on in the market with the algorithm. There's been so many changes. What's going on with AI? And in the last couple of podcasts, I knew I wasn't going to be around for a minute because I'm trying to finish up my book, and I have a number of other things going on. And just focus on the basics, right? And what does that mean? And we're going to get into that. But here's something I can tell you. I actually reconnected with another fellow digital marketer. They claim to do SEO, and I do believe that they're good at it. It might be a situation of cobbler's kids have no shoes, but I went to this person's website, and they didn't have a H1 on their homepage. So there, and then there's a bunch of H2s on different pages. So it didn't help create the on-page signals that Google needs. So could be a situation of cobbler's kids have no shoes, but like, if you know these things, implement them. And also, I personally believe your website should be your calling card. And that's one of the things I'm trying to turn internally. Is we do a lot of stuff for client work, but we need to take care of ourselves just as much or more. because people that know SEO are going to look at your website and go, "Hey, do you know SEO? I don't know." That's kind of the situation. So, am doing an insider group. There's a lot of unknown secrets about SEO, but there's actually a lot of really transparent information out there. There's a lot of craziness in the affiliate world and some black hat stuff. Not really a fan of that. I don't think it lasts long term. I think the technology and the AI is getting a lot smarter. A lot of people moved outside of SEO because it's not scalable. It's very customized. It's very tailored. Um, but here's what I can tell you: I have not found any leads that are better than SEO leads. Working on developing different strategies for social media, and that's been really exciting for clients. Paid organic strategies, incorporating PR. That's a great way to build a brand too. Okay, I just have a lot more experience with Google, paid media, and then really the SEO leads are just absolutely outstanding. I have a number of clients that are getting 10, 20 leads a day. Okay. And so how do you do that? Well, SEO is just not um, SEO. There's conversion rate optimization. The GNB, which we're going to talk about today, is about what is it? No, not a third, maybe a third, maybe 20%. I don't know. Between a third and 20%, I gotta look at it. Of the overall traffic, it continues to change with the Google guaranteed leads. That's something we recommend to local clients. And oh, look at that, my shirt! I'm wearing my StreamYard shirt today. That was actually why I decided I need to do a podcast. It's been a minute. Is I was wearing the shirt. I was like, okay, this is a perfect time to jump into it. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the article. So, grabbed an article on Search Engine Journal about local SEO. Let me give a shout out to who wrote this. This is Andrew Shotland. All right, Andrew Shotland. Great article. You laid out a lot of really nice things. It's called Local Landing Pages, a Strategy for Ranking Local Search Terms. And the reason I picked this article also is I kind of like to summarize. I don't like to read everything exactly. I want to kind of distill out the main points in it. And this article helped me kind of go through stuff that I thought was important, but really distill that for you in some things that I think would be valuable. Also, like I said, I'm going to be doing some workshops and help freelancers, companies that really want to get their SEO a lot better. There's a lot of things that I've learned over the years that just consistently work, and they continue to get better and better as the algorithm gets smarter because they understand what I was trying to do with the signals. So I like talked to the algorithm. I don't know. I need to do some like one-on-one training. This is a podcast for kind of advanced users. So I am going to come out on YouTube with some, educational stuff, kind of SEO 101, a little bit more advanced, unknown secrets, maybe even more unknown secrets in the insiders group. But let's get into this. All right. Uh, uh, yeah, someone is about to come in, so I need to wrap this up. I've kind of jumped into it, but what is the purpose of a location page? Uh, when you're talking about G&B, we're really talking about the local search engine platform, which is actually different than universal search. Not a lot of people know it's a different search engine. It's wrapped together with YouTube and the maps, and then universal search or whatever national SEO, whatever you want to call that, in something called universal search. There's a lot of stuff that's about to be changing about that, but that platform is separate. So anything that you create, any content that's created on that platform, so filling out the forms, mini blogs, FAQs, all really important things, images, video, because again, it's a separate platform, but it ties together, has a lot of this similar signals to regular SEO. So there's a lot of overlap there. And again, when you're looking at, let's say, local SEO, it's not just the GNB or the Google Business Profile. It's actually other things that are connected to it, right? Everything's interconnected with your digital presence. So a location page, if you're in a specific location, you can write content tailor to that specific area, link your GNB to that specific page. And then, well, Google's going to look at that specific page to say, hey, is this meeting all the requirements? Hey, does it load fast? Does it have different things on it? Privacy policy, terms of use, contact us about us. There's different things that it's looking for. But this lays out a location page strategy, which is not a bad strategy, but you got to be careful because there's something called doorway pages. So if you can't get to your page from the homepage, right? If you can't navigate to it, it's kind of a orphan or uh, hidden page. It could be considered a doorway page. Also, if you're trying to redirect a page to another page and you're not trying to capture information on that page, that could be considered a doorway page and you could get a manual penny for that. So you got to be really, really careful on what you're doing, how you're doing it. But you got to pay attention to this because a manual review, getting your GMB taken down, like I said before, is absolutely gut wrenching as far as lost and potential business and trust and all that sort of thing. There's different ways to lay out your page. There's different ways to set up your hierarchy depending on if you're regional, if you're national, if you're of course local, or if you want to build it with growth in mind, right? So there could be state pages, there could be city pages, tying in and interlinking to the service pages, location details, driving directions. I've seen a big move, and something that I am doing is moving a lot more things under the contact us. Because, well, if you think about the big platforms like Google or Facebook, you can't get anybody on the phone unless you have a special number or you set up an appointment. And really, how people are searching online, starting to put stuff under the contact us so they can find everything they need. They don't have to call you. It's kind of like those 1-800 numbers that you could listen and not talk to a salesperson, but you could find out all the information you need and have a help center. That's how we're starting to design websites. I have been doing a lot of websites lately that just really need an overhaul as far as the user experience, content, old technology, old frameworks, right? AMP pages, all that sort of stuff. Every couple of years, you need a new website. So we've been doing a lot of that. All right, totally summarized that article, but hopefully you got the I distilled the meat out of it for you. All right, why do location pages matter? Well, location matters matter. Man, I can't talk today. Location pages matter for people searching for your brand. Okay. And I've seen this with a lot of radio ads, TV ads. People are searching for your brand. And I did post an old interview not too long ago with somebody from Google. And that's what Google's looking for. Google loves brands and Google wants to um, promote real companies, not fly by night companies, not lead harvesting affiliate type companies. And that's where a lot of these uh, rules have come out of, right? So, brand inquiries, people searching for your name. People want to search your name in a specific area. The best way to do that is talk about yourself, talk about a certain location. You should get preference and show up at the top. Now, to go after commercial keywords, there's some strategies for that. The thing I'll tell you is um, duplicate content does not necessarily hurt you, but it doesn't help you. Okay. Same thing with stock imagery. And I've talked about this in the past. Well, whoever gets credit for the stock photo, the first post online gets the credit, right? When you repost it doesn't help your blog. It doesn't help your pages. So you want to move away from stock. You want to use original images. We've started to use some AI images. There's a number of tools out there that work really well. Sometimes we don't get stuff from the clients. So that's been a new thing for us to lean on. It's not perfect. I think the originality, doing the video shoots, shooting from your phones, taking the pictures, 3 times more engagement. So really encourage you to do that. So the non-branded local inquiries, which I call those the commercial intent, that's where the money is. That's where the beauty is. Ranking for those terms, having new people that don't know who you are exposed to you to fill up that funnel. That's what SEO is about. It's also about conversion rate optimization because you got to convert those into leads. Now, a lot of people talk about outbound linking, and they don't like to do it because they don't want to share the SEO juice. That hurts you. I'll go into more details later, not in this podcast, but you do want to do outbound linking, and there's a strategy and a thought behind links. Links are citations. Okay. And again, I'll go into this more detail, but interlinking is super important. So if you just build a page and you don't put any links on it, out or in, really the strategy or the thought process when it was really rudimentary was someone was searching the internet and they would click on a link and they were like a little surfer. That's what I always think about. And they travel around the world and they can make it back to your site, right? Staying in uh, that kind of domain of what you're talking about as far as uh, reasonable content. You create a lot of signals when you do outbound links. If you don't know what you're doing, just do a few. Same thing with internal links. So until you really understand the concept of linking and then also link equity, uh, keep it simple because you'll confuse the search engines is just the most I'll kind of say on that. How do local pages affect your local pack? Um, well, if you link to it, it helps. There's something called like kind of domain authority areas. And so if you're in that domain authority area, you'll start ranking for all those long tail keywords. So, like, for example, we're in Houston. If we rank for the Houston term in the top 100, it gives us a certain amount of link equity. And then we link for all kind of the sub associated villages and counties and all that sort of thing. And Google knows that and understands that. I can tell you again, yes, I think it is a third, about a third of all the traffic, 20 to 33% of all the traffic goes through that GMB. There's a lot of industries, well, lawyers, for example, um, if you're a DWI lawyer or you're a personal injury lawyer, you're just going down the list. You're calling people as fast as you can. You want to talk to somebody, you want to make the pain go away. You're not doing that deep research. So maps really, really matter. Google guaranteed leads, paid ads really matter. SEO, not as much, right? People search a little bit differently. There's other industries when you're making a big purchase, like, I don't know, house or remodeling a pool or a car or something like that, something big, you're going to do a lot of research. And people go back to websites 12, 15, 30 times. We've seen conversions either convert the first day or maybe the third day, or then maybe they convert in like 14 days or 30 days. And it just really depends the depth of research. But usually the quality of leads are better from SEO because they're not an emergency thing that like a air conditioner if you're down south or a plumbing leak or something like that where you just need it fixed. You're really being thoughtful in your purchase. So purchase intent, industries makes a lot of difference. Some industries you get all leads, some industries not as much, and you got to try different strategies. You just got to fish where the fish are, right? So how do location pages affect local rankings? He goes through basically the gist. Four, what are the basic elements of a well optimized page? So NAP listings, name, address, phone number. I would also add website to that. You could put your um, uh, GPS coordinates. There's a lot of other things outside of NAP that you can add to create that citation. What it is just giving Google more trust that you are the business that I'm thinking about. Well, there's a lot of businesses with the same name. I'll give you an example. In the roofing industry, I don't know why it is. Everybody wants to be called Guardian Roofing. No idea why it is. In Houston, there's multiple companies that are called Guardian, right? Google to know who's searching for what, how to provide that attribution to who. Structured data. This is a unknown secret. Like structured data, there's a lot of things that you can go to schema.org. You can utilize. There's all kinds of schema that if you use the approved schema, it helps you because it creates a signal that lets Google know. If you use again long tail schema, or schema that not everybody's using, you have a leg up when Google's looking at all the different signals because you check a box that they don't check. So organization schema, article schema, video schema. There's a few other ones that are pretty basic. Um, breadcrumbs. You have to do breadcrumbs. how SEO works and how link equity works, you have to do breadcrumbs. I've said it before, haven't talked about it too much, but just know you need to do breadcrumbs. Use a plugin that does breadcrumbs, but you need to be doing breadcrumbs if you want the SEO to flow around the site. Uh, you know, metadata. Again, I'm running tight on time here, but you got to do headers. You got to break them down. Google's got to understand what is more important for what. If you think about the H1, if you want to have the keyword in the H1, you don't necessarily need the keyword in H2 and H3. Google understands it's all nested underneath that category. So you don't have to keyword stuff. Google understands. You can use different variations to increase density, but don't make everything H1. Don't make everything H2. A lot of web developers do that. And it just says, well, this is all weighted equally. So let me look at other signals to figure out what the site's about that uses crawl budget. And, that's not good. You want to make it as easy as possible for Google. You want to add new content, Google will come back and you can grow your crawl budget and you can get more pages indexed. If pages aren't indexed, they don't help you with any kind of SEO link equity, right? So if you don't have links to your page, it's not in the Google directory or the search engine, it's not helping you, right? So you want to get indexed. Metadata will help because it helps organize content. All right, number 5, engagement intangibles. Call to actions. There's a lot of other things you could put in, like slider bars, or like little calculators. Anything that keeps somebody on the page is pretty cool. Infographics work really well. Online appointments. There's a lot of things, right? And really dwell time, they say dwell time doesn't matter, but everything that equates to dwell time does matter. And they're constantly in the Google dance comparing you versus everyone else. So the more stuff like that you can do, the better you can make the user experience. If you can help them make the purchase decision without leaving your page or things associated with your page where they don't have to go anywhere else, that's what Google wants to see. Advanced location page. He says, this isn't rocket science, so I will say advanced. I really mean SEO tactics for someone who somehow got buy-in from the rest of the organization to prioritize updates of the location page, and everyone forgot we had. Here are some things that we've worked on over time, and let's see what he says. Optimize content. Yes, you need updated content. He said it's perfectly fine to start with basic copy with a find and replace for location city page to explain it. So basically he's creating mass content. It sounds like it's relatively cheap and easy, and you can go back and update the copy later. See what it gets you before spending more money and time. We tend to see more targeted leads come out of copy outperforming instances of using the same copy on the page. Yeah, of course, more targeted copy outperforms the same copy because it's tailored to the client. I recall a client site not moving in rankings for 6 months until we updated the copy on the location page, and it was unique. So it does matter. Again, it's a zero-sum game. You're competing with everybody else. Depends how competitive your niche is, how much content there is in your niche on what ranks better than other. A lot of people write blogs and they copy other people and they rewrite those blogs immediately. A lot of people do that to my blogs, like almost immediately someone's copying it. Whoever writes the blog the first time gets the credit based on the indexing. Now, there are some black hat ways that people are getting indexed before. So this is a whole like black hat news SEO. They're using news SEO to get indexed before the big site. So they're taking other people's content. Again, I don't think it's right. Getting it indexed before the main search engine indexes it. They have a couple days to grab some traffic. But basically the first person to put it out there, the author of it, gets the credit for it. Everybody else, it's not as much, but if it's competing against nothing, yes, of course it's going to do better. Hopefully you're following me. I know I'm moving kind of fast through some of this. I just want to make sure to get y'all a podcast because it's been a minute. Let's see. Phrases, relevant topics you are targeting in your copy doesn't hurt. Certain businesses may benefit from adding points of interest. So like landmarks or things near you to create that geo relevance. He doesn't go into a ton of detail here. I can go into that more later. It's certainly valuable if you do it right. If you do it wrong, it confuses your Google to make it think that your website's about other things that it's not, right? If you create too many signals, Google might think you're something else that you're not, right? And you really want Google to understand what you are, um, and the category you're in, so you build that domain expertise. And that's really the first component of Google, is ranking for that head term, and then starting building domain authority in that. Link to nearby locations, multi locations. Yeah, of course, if you have multiple locations, you can leverage them as kind of your own network. Um, things that people search for. Um, I would say local events are even better, or things at places in local events. And you can use things like Foursquare for schema markup. I know people don't use Foursquare. I used to use it all the time right out of college. I think it's still a great tool. It's out of vogue right now, but it creates that schema markup in that location. And then you tie that to an event you do, and really Google Maps what's going on in the real world versus there. Relevant topics and images. Yes, of course. This is big. Using images that you've labeled for something else or a different location in your media gallery, and then use that on a different page. If the alt text or the name of the image or the title is tied to something else, it could create a confused signal. So you might want to duplicate the image and create new, copy for that image if you're going to reuse that image, or just be thoughtful of the image you're using. Link to products and services that are relevant. That's talking about siloing. Add local reviews. I talked about that at the beginning. You absolutely have to do that. If you don't have them, your credibility is crushed. You got to have more than, I think, 12 or 7, somewhere in that range, where people start taking you seriously. They want to see good and bad. So if you have a bad review, it's okay. Just respond to it, but not with emotion, with kind of a public trial. Say what you would say to a jury, or if it was on the front page of a newspaper. Respond to it in a very professional way with no emotion. Try to answer their question, because people want to see how you respond, because everybody knows you're not going to have a perfect experience every time, but they want to know, if things don't go well, are you the kind of person to fix it? Do they want to be in business with you? Right. So those are really, really important. Um, he talks about a number of other things: local sponsorships, hiring pages, pricing info, business licenses. Business licenses are big depending on your industry. Community connections, social proof, joining Chamber of Commerce. BBB is worth a lot. So if you can afford a BBB, depending on your business size, or if you're big, you need to do BBB. It's got a lot of credibility. And if you're trying to build that local relevance, those chambers in the BBB are one of the places to start when you're looking at NAP listings. Google Merchant Center. I'm going to skip that because that's a whole rabbit hole of e-commerce. What should you not do with location pages? Unnecessary locations and unnecessary services. You want to tighten where you're directing your SEO juice. You only want to rank in areas you want. Here's one of the big things, and this is one of the things. Well, this page, this is good. This is a good article, so I encourage you to go read it on Search Engine Journal. I think it's /local landing pages 485948. Okay, so yeah, you only have so much SEO juice. You can only be an expert in so many things, to based on your page rank, domain authority, all these different factors. So you can't be an expert in everything, right? You can only be an expert in some things, and you got to have a certain amount of credibility to open up other areas, and they have to be adjacent areas. Like, so, 2 different industries, 2 different topics, you're going to stretch yourself thin. You want to kind of treat it like building blocks. And also, we've had a number of clients pushing for certain keywords. If you get outside that standard deviation, you start getting algorithmic penalties. Also, if you're trying to push for too many areas and you don't have the domain authority, had a client up north. I'll just say up north. They tried to move down south and in multiple states to become like a lead gen site. They were a broker, and they didn't have enough SEO juice to do it. They were ranking really well in their specific area, spread out their SEO juice too much. And what we had to do is we had to walk back that strategy to focus on that different area, build up that domain expertise, and then create a new bucket or a new kind of campaign focus to develop out that other area. So you want to really be cognizant of that. You don't want to spread yourself too thin. So I agree. Unnecessary pages, unnecessary links. There are things you don't want to focus on. Again, less is more as far as like the signals you are creating. Location pages, you want to have the actual location in, and I don't know if he says this. I'm assuming he says this because it's really important. You can do a map embed, a Google map embed. That's good. But you want to have actually the NAP listing in the body of it, not just in the footer. It really makes a difference. You're providing trust proof of that specific area. Um, Multi-location SEO. Yeah, he's talking about that. It's super fun. Love doing that. Thin content, 350 words used to be good because nobody was online 7, 9 years ago. Now it is considered thin content. You will get a thin content penalty if you don't have enough relevant content on pages. So go back and look at that. That's what I'm seeing a lot. Old pages, old galleries. You need to clean stuff up. If you haven't looked at your website in a while, I encourage you to go back and look at it because 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago online is a lot. So you want to constantly be updating this, um, you know, and old pages within content just really hurt you more than they help you. Only create pages where there is clear local intent. He's talking about a case study here, 54 practices, 100 and 1,620 plus pages. First thing we did is determine local intent, right? There's AIDA, attention, interest, decision, action. You need to understand who, one, your target persona, who your information is going for, and then where they are in the funnel, and creating content along the whole customer journey is really important. If you're creating an informational page versus a buying intent page, they are valued differently. They're two separate buckets, and you want to be clear what they are. You might want to have an informational page for top funnel SEO, and then you might want to have another page that links together for that high conversion towards the end. Now, a lot of people put those together. They make a super long page. That works too, but think about it like Pepsi Sprite. If you want to drink Pepsi or Sprite, or where you are, like I like Pepsi and Sprite, but I don't like them together, right? So you might want to break them up. Again, Google's trying to answer the specific search that someone has for the specific area, and there's 75% of all searches are still new searches. So going after that long tail key phrase, but really know what your page is about and what that intent's about is big. Hey, I don't know how well I covered this article. I followed the outline. I think that there's some good stuff in here. I would really encourage you to go back and read it. Andrew Shotland, want to give you a big shout out there. Do really like this article. I think you covered a lot of really good things. Hopefully, if you've listened to this podcast, you've gotten some value. If you have, hey, please share this. Please like us. Please follow us. Only a very fraction of people do. And I got to get out of here. So I will talk to y'all later. If you're wanting to grow your business or your online marketplace with the biggest, strongest, best, most awesome tool ever created, Google and AI is pretty big and is a way to go. And starting to do the building blocks and the basic foundation so the AI understands what your website's about, because it's got this massive job of organizing all the information, is a great place to start. And it's going to become more and more important as we move into the metaverse and digital IDs and online. Really paying attention to your digital presence, your business digital presence. I know you focus on your business a lot, or if you're at a big corporation, it might not be something that's on your radar, but you're spending all this money on marketing, you're spending all this time doing what you're doing. You need to have a good representative or agent that's going to be working on your site and keeping it up to date, or you need to be doing it yourself. So you need to either do the work or find a good person, pay that person. And you want to close the feedback loop. You want to check what they're doing. You want to be working with them, but your online presence to manage that is something, unfortunately, that you have to do in today's day and time if you want to leverage Google. And look, Google is so powerful. You've got so many people on the internet searching for a specific thing, and you can, uh, you can put your brand out there, you can raise your hand, you can put your shingle out, whatever you want to call it, and people can find you. And that is absolutely powerful. And that has changed how people do business. And you can expand that footprint virtually and not just geographically. So it's changed the game. I encourage you to look into SEO, invest in it. If you're listening to this podcast, I know you are. So please let me know how I'm doing as a single host. Hopefully you got some value. Until the next time, bye bye for now.